I just won't eat then. This is a video about exploitation and ending it. This is an idea. And I want to say a trigger warning. I'll probably mention some things like child abuse, child exploitation, maybe suicide, eating disorder, among other things. I shouldn't get too into detail of them, though. The idea is just saying, all right, well, I just won't eat then. I just won't fucking eat anymore. If exploitation is so built, exploitation, right? So think about exploitation. If exploitation of anybody, the environment, animals, people, children, is built into the things that we do, even a little bit, I just won't fucking eat, right? Because in my experience, it's been like you think and you analyze and you sort through all the shit that you do in your day-to-day life and you try to make it ethical. And then you just keep seeing spots where there's little tiny details of life that it just feels like you can't escape being an unethical consumer or just doing something slightly wrong that requires somebody else to be abused miles and miles away from you just for you to have luxury. And so my theory is, okay, well, I'm at this point, I'm just going to end up not even being able to eat food anymore because, something will be unethical, whether it's start at surface level. So food dyes, a layer deeper is animal torture and animal extraction. And then a layer deeper is like child forced labor abroad. And then a layer, I don't know, the other layers are like capitalism is a damaging system, and there's like a few at the top who benefit from everybody below, right? So that's the theory. That's like the general sentence that I've been using to describe this. I'll share my personal experience here in a second, a little bit more like the actionable steps, I guess. Quote, given the severity and urgency of these problems, please consider banning minors from using the platform until it is radically transformed. In addition, Discord should consider banning pornography until robust and age consent verification for sexually explicit material can be implemented. Without such safeguards, image-based sexual abuse and child sexual abuse material will continue to proliferate. This is part of an email that I think Nkosi or NCMEC, one of the US-based child exploitation agencies, suggests that we send to platforms, commonly used platforms, demanding accountability, demanding for them to like prioritize children and shit, right? If we can't keep kids safe, then let's not have minors even on the platform, right? Just no more fucking minors on the platform. Can't protect the most vulnerable people among us? All right, well, I guess we can't have these pleasures anymore then. It's like taking something away from like a kid or like a dog. I don't give a fuck if it's completely integrated into your business model, which is a very hard thing for people to let go of, right? If something's very integrated into their little crafty business model, they don't want to give it up at any cost, right? Of course, if the people like end up demanding on a large enough scale, right, of course, then something can be done. But or say if cocoa is a commonly understood product, like, and I say product because like I've been thinking in like fucking corporate language recently as I try to learn this shit. I've also been using ChatGPT. That might be fucking up my brain. I don't know, but cocoa is like, it's commonly understood to be a risky product because there may be exploitation behind it abroad, such as forced labor or child labor. And so if that's completely integrated into your diet and way of life and like in overall enjoyment of food, then I could only hope, right? I could only hope and pray while screaming that we as a society would, I guess you specifically, first of all, right, would have the courage to, the courage and capability and just like understanding to cut it out. If it's not worth it, if you have a conviction about it, if you feel that it's wrong, then just cut it out. I'll move on to my more personal experience right now, I guess. Why even have pleasures if we aren't protecting the most vulnerable and tortured people among us? This message, like the things that I'm saying, like if I'm saying them right, of course, right, they're gonna resonate with people who are like me, like people who have the similar sort of convictions, which is a lot of people. It's a lot of people. But really quick, I just want to acknowledge that there's also a lot of people in life who just have been through some fucking terrible shit and just like deserve comfort, right? Just people who like, everybody is entitled to comfort for the most part. Like I think like that, actually no, that's a human right. That's a birthright. Is like you deserve peace. What I'm saying is like not everyone gets peace, but you know, there's people among us who just really deserve peace, but then there's people like me who just like who just want to fucking feel the pain of the world for a minute, just to understand what the fuck is going on, so that we can tell other people who have convictions and who have like personal convictions, like a little voice telling them to like, okay, be more conscious, right? Yeah, there's people like me who want to empower that side of things in life, if that makes sense. It's so fucking hard to explain this shit, I swear to God. The point on this channel is to try, though. It's to try. It's not to be perfect, it's to try. But yeah, yeah. So, why even have pleasures if we aren't protecting the most vulnerable and tortured people among us? The most vulnerable people. Like, why? Like, we don't deserve shit if we can't fucking take care of the basics, right? I don't know, I was watching this video um, with this woman who was very skilled in I think forensics, and she, at the end of her talk, she was like, I see so many brilliant minds and like so many people like focused on things, and like she was talking about how people focus on protecting their car, like with advanced security features, and she was like, don't fucking focus on protecting your car, focus on protecting children, bro. She didn't say it exactly like that, that's how I said it, but do you see the message? Do you see what I'm saying? I genuinely feel guilty, shameful for having any kind of luxury, kind of, you know, after imagining the kind of suffering that goes on in the world, let alone luxuries like phones, sugar, cocoa, fabric, internet, fossil fuels, plastic, and everything, right? I benefit from these things. Truly. And a lot of the time these things actually give me joy, right? But I am actively changing and removing them to make this point. Please understand. Here's what I've done. I've been only using electronics that are used, essentially, or borrowed, or bound for the trash. I believe this helps a lot. I've been examining every label and doing some research on nearly every product that I use, whether food or non-food. I've also been trying to recycle out of faith. You know, it's like an act of faith to recycle, because who knows if, you know, the recycling will just be mixed with the trash or whatever, right? Like at the end of the day. I do believe that like acts of faith like that, like acting out of, I guess, faith is also important. But so those are just a couple things. There's more things that I can't really think of right now, but my favorite thing that I've done in recent months is put myself into a sort of minimalist lifestyle and focus on food production, like self sufficiency. My goals for this year are to plant some food, experiment with cooking and foraging, and I also want to experiment with canning, like preserving food, and I think of it as fundamental structures, like fundamental big ideas that I can sort things into. So like you produce the food, and then you preserve the food, and then you have it for longer, and it's just like, oh, okay, that makes sense as like a priority. If you want to be more sustainable, more source things more ethically, um, be more connected to your food and the world around you, right? And it's like, okay, well, this is an all around win 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 win, right? It's a win win scenario. Um, this kind of life is possible, like what I just said, is possible for so many of us, even if we don't realize it. So like, okay, and this is my experience, right? But if you're trapped in like an apartment, if you feel like you're trapped in a fucking apartment, or like just kind of trapped in the city, or like in a stupid fucking job that you hate, which unfortunately is most people, or just a job that's kind of comfortable but you don't want it long term, it's still possible to do these things. Like, I refuse to believe that it's impossible for everybody to do this, and of course I know that it's complex. I just really really want there to be hope. I really want there to be hope, because again, like, what am I gonna do, just fucking starve? No, like, I just won't eat then? Like, no, right? No, like, here, I'm spoiling it, but like, we don't want to do that. We're not going to do that unless it gets really, really bad, and then I hope that we would have enough courage to just fucking boycott everything and just throw away our freedoms, our personal freedoms, to protect other people's freedoms. But yeah, I mean, so this way of life, like the things that I've been doing, it feels like a gigantic step backwards from regular life to examine sort of the system that we've been upholding our whole lives, which is empowering. It's empowering for me. It's empowering. And I mean, I hope you understand that. Like, at the very least, it's empowering to do that. So if this registers as anything meaningful to you, like something that you've been ignoring but you've been thinking about, but like you're trying to push it away a little bit, if that describes you even a little bit, and I need you to be critical for just a second with me. If that's you, a little bit, even a little bit, please just consider like saying no and just like walking out of darkness, I guess. Just consider it. That's what I want to do with this channel. It's like, I want to empower people. I want to try. I want to speak. I want to talk. I haven't always been able to talk like this. It's still really hard. Don't ignore the conviction, please. I am somewhat of an expert at believing that situations are hopeless. Like, never being able to afford living, like cost of living, never earning enough money from the jobs I want to do, and thinking that caring too much is useless. It's not, by the way. And even feeling like sustainable food production is impossible, right? I feel like I have to beat that thinking out of me, because it just feels kind of wrong. It just feels kind of wrong. And I don't want us to be held back by like these depressing beliefs. I don't want them to be correct. And largely, I feel like they aren't correct. I feel like there is hope. So as I've tried not to overlook any tiny detail of how my day-to-day life may be enabling exploitation, like worldwide, I become afraid that I will eventually just see everything as exploitative and simply decide not to eat. And that would be as a way to I feel like it serves three purposes. That thinking, that decision, a way and an excuse to end my own life, which does come from like some kind of suicidal thoughts, right? Also to reduce harm, which is like part of my genuine desire to reduce harm, which is good. And third, from the desire to protest, to cause a scene, if you will, about the not about, regarding the abuse that I've witnessed, that I've been speaking about in this video. But yeah, I mean, those are the three reasons, as horrible as it sounds. The reasons that I'm afraid that, you know, I'll make that decision. And so for me, that idea of I just won't eat, it's almost literal. And sometimes I can imagine it being literal, but largely I have hope. So even larger than that, even larger than those reasons. Not the reasons. Sorry, just even larger than the problems, right? There is hope in my life, at least. So that's good, and I want to mention that. But I also really like to focus on the bad things. Like sometimes I can't look away because I really want to figure it out and understand. For fuck's sake, right? I'm sure a lot of people share that. But yeah, I mean, I can make a point if I did something extreme. And like, how do you feel about that? Like, have you ever felt like that? Have you ever felt like, okay, well, I just want to make a point. I want to do something very frowned upon to make a point. Like, does that resonate? Do you know anyone like that, I guess? I mean, what are your thoughts on that? Disclaimer, though, essentially, with everything that I talk about, I want it to be taken constructively. What I said is 100% real, but we need to engage carefully, have a conversation about it, and proceed hopefully with like some kind of empowerment of some kind. Because, you know, I don't do this stuff for no reason. If it was just about me, bro, I'd have a fucking easy life. It'd be great. It's great either way, but whatever. I want to care about the world in as full of a way that I believe is necessary. Right? Like, if I witness something that's bad, I want to be able to, like, deal with it properly. And I want to be empowered to make a decision to not participate in it. And I've almost been kind of vague with what exactly the exploitative things themselves are, because it's very wide reaching. I mean, even taxes are exploitative. I don't want to get into all the things that are exploitative, but I've mentioned, I've been trying to mention the smaller details because, you know, I mean, I felt like I've needed to focus on the smaller details of day-to-day life because I don't know. Oh, I just thought of the quote, "The devil is in the details," or something like that. You know what I mean? It's like if we can't figure out the teeny tiny little small parts of our lives, how can we do something big? How can we make a big impact? I guess. So yeah, in the script I wrote, "What the F is going on? How does this world even exist?" Jeez, dude. We're deciding to just stand together and say no to bullshit. I know for a fact this idea will run into problems like selfishness, anger, emotion, fear, schedules and lifestyles that shall never be interfered with, etc. But it will definitely fucking help. I mean, just like general harm reduction, just like being mindful, just like protesting a little bit, like it'll help. I think it'll help. I really do. It will help. Quote, the likelihood that your acts of resistance cannot stop the injustice does not exempt you from acting in what you sincerely and reflectively hold to be the best interests of your community. Susan Sontag. Thank you.